Hello and welcome to another Bearded Geek toy review. In today's episode we're looking at two of the figures from the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus TV series. Stay tuned.
Leave us alone.
When the time comes, he must be trained.
Like you trained his father?
Hello and welcome back to the channel. As you can see in this video, we're looking at two of the figures from the recent Disney Plus TV series, Obi-Wan Kenobi, which saw the return of Ewan McGregor in the title role and also Hayden Christensen returning as Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker for some flashback sequences. Now, these are the first two figures in this wave, and there has been subsequent figures released since. I picked up Obi-Wan from my local Smiths because he has been reduced from $25.99 to $19.99, and $19.99 is a good price to pay, I think, for this figure. I've been critical of Hasbro's price rises over several of my recent Black Series videos. Darth Vader here is actually my very first Darth Vader Black Series figure, which is surprising, and I'll give you an explanation into that later on in the video when we look at the figure in more detail. But he is, I think, still retailing for about $25.99. I didn't pay that. This is a Christmas present from my other half. Thank you very much. She kind of knows what to get me. So I am grateful that I've got this figure now, because I think this is the best Darth Vader figure that Hasbro have released so far in the Black Series. So before we get more involved with the actual figures themselves, let's have a look at the packaging in more detail. So this is still the plastic windowed packaging, which obviously is getting phased out. So as you can see, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, Wandering Jedi. Some lovely artwork there on the side. And again, because these are the first two in this wave, they do actually match up. If you're one of those people who wants to obviously display them in box, and I know a lot of collectors do that, and they display them side on, so all the artwork goes along in a sequence. We'll just put Darth Vader there. Standard bump on the back. Obviously, it gives you a description there that Obi-Wan Kenobi is set years after the dramatic events of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, where Kenobi faced the corruption of his friend Jedi apprentice Anakin Skywalker, who turned to Sith Lord Darth Vader. All the usual safety bump on the bottom, which they have to put on legally these days. So with Darth Vader here, again, very, very similar. Lovely piece of artwork there of Vader on the side, and again you get another version of that image on the back. Exactly the same description of there, so it doesn't even elaborate even more on the series. I'm not sure if other figures in this wave have the exact same description, or whether they'll go into more detail about the actual other characters that are there. But there we have it. These are the first two in the wave, and this wave came out roughly around about, I think, September, October-ish last year. And like I said, I picked this up in December when it had been reduced. And this one was a Christmas present. So without further ado, I think we're going to look at Obi-Wan first. We're going to save Vader for later. So here we go. Let's have a look at the Obi-Wan Kenobi figure from the Disney Plus series. Now, we've got the figure out of the packaging, but first of all, we're going to have a look at a couple of the little features and accessories that he comes with. First of all, obviously, he comes with his lightsaber, and it's the same hilt as has been on previous Obi-Wan figures, but obviously the weathering on that hilt is a lot darker. The paint job's a lot darker to show the time that has gone on in the show that obviously he's not used the saber. And again, oh, there's a few little hairs on there. The blade does come off if you want to display him with just the hilt as usual, or just click the blade back in. He also comes with a blaster, which is accurate to the blaster that he has in the show. And I have noticed that the figure does actually have a holster there, so you can put that blaster in the holster if you don't want him holding it. And he comes with Lola. Oh, here we go. Now she's a little fiddly thing. Now obviously that's Princess Leia's droid there. It's a nice little added accessory. Obviously those flaps there don't go down, so it's just one sculpted piece. And I did notice that it does actually come with, if you can see there, a little display option, so you could have Lola kind of like floating in midair. But I'm not really going to have this on display. And it's got a little buzzsaw that you can put in the front there. But, you know, nice little added extra. It is slightly articulated. You can move the legs slightly. So, you know, again, nice little add-on there, but not something that I'm going to be displaying with the figure. So the first thing that is apparent, obviously, on this figure is that he does come with a soft goods cloak, which is very, very well manufactured, and does actually have like a little hood there, so you can have him in that hooded position. Just let me get that around there. So you could have him with that hood on, fold it over, just depending on how you want it. You could obviously, after some kind of like pushing down, you could try and get it to stay in place a little bit better. I wasn't too impressed with the likeness of Ewan McGregor, to be quite honest, when I saw this figure in packaging, but actually it looks a damn sight better in person, and I just hope that kind of like comes across a lot more on the camera than what it does in any photos that you may have seen. Might have been happy with a bit more grey in his beard and his hair, but I think that's a good likeness of him as he appears in the show. I know he's I think he appeared on Jimmy Fallon's talk show in the US, and he was a bit critical and saying that even after all these years they can't make it look like me. But I do actually think it looks like him. And here's a comparison. Here's, you've got Ewan as the Clone Commander from the Clone Wars there, with a realistic photo digital face sculpt on there. So there seems to be less of the glossiness that you get on these figures sometimes. Now, I have seen some videos where they have this kind of like dulling matte spray that they spray onto the figures, certainly the faces, which then makes the likenesses look a lot better, a lot more realistic. So I might be investing in some of that off Amazon. It's like modelling matte spray that you can like kind of like spray on models and action figures and stuff. So some of them do have this kind of like shiny, sweaty sheen on them, which I presume is just part of the face sculpt. So that's Obi-Wan the Clone Commander from the Clone Wars. That's the not the only Obi-Wan figure I've got. I have got the first ever Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith one that was released way back in 2014, but obviously that doesn't have a digital face sculpt. And if you want to check out the original review video of this figure over here, I do a comparison of those two figures in that. So you have, as I said, you've got that holster there, with a nice little hole there, so we could put the blaster in. Apologies for the sound of the wind outside. It's the weather is absolutely atrocious at the moment. There you go. So that clicks in there, and I just really like the way this cloak kind of like just fits on the figure. It is really, really good. You've got the accurate sculpt of his belt, his holster, his trousers, his boots, and obviously his tunic. I think Hasbro have done a really, really good job here of capturing Obi-Wan's essence from the Disney Plus series. So I've got him there holding the saber, and now always with these kind of figures, it's kind of like they just about hold the saber when you want to do them in a double-handed pose, but sometimes they're not always the best because, you know, I don't know. It's just about getting that articulation kind of like really kind of like in there. Yeah, see, as soon as you move it slightly, he pops out. But it kind of does it. I may just have him posed slightly differently. But anyway, regarding the Disney Plus series, it was great to see Ewan McGregor back in the role. He did an absolutely brilliant job portraying like a post-traumatic Obi-Wan who was traumatized from the events of Revenge of the Sith with Order 66, and seeing his Padawan and apprentice turn to the dark side, and then learning that he'd actually survived and that Darth Vader was still running rampage across the galaxy, but now in a completely different, more bastardized form than how he left him on the shores of the lava rivers of Mustafar. So it was padded. You could tell the series was padded because it was originally designed as a movie. And if you do have the chance, there is a guy called Paterson who has done a 2.5-hour movie cut of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series, which he's put on his website. I'll leave a link down below to his website. You can stream it from there, but obviously he asks that you have a Disney Plus account before you do that. But yeah, it's a huge improvement. He puts in some more of John Williams' score. He puts in some more traditional Star Wars wipes and fades that we have obviously from the movies, and it looks and feels overall more like a Star Wars film. And he cuts out some of the unnecessary subplots as well that we really didn't need. That whole section at the end with the third sister going after Luke, that's completely cut out of it. It now kind of like implies that Reva is dead after she confronts Vader towards the end of the story. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this figure. So he's going to go alongside here, and I'll just move that Obi-Wan across, and we'll leave him there for the moment. He does actually stand up. I might get his hood a little bit better, but let's crack open Darth Vader and have a look at what I think is the best Darth Vader figure that Hasbro have done in the Black Series so far. Now again, before we look at Vader in more closer detail, he does actually just only come with one accessory, and obviously that accessory is going to be his lightsaber. Now, as I was taking it out, the blade did pop out at the hilt, so we'll just pop that in there to just demonstrate that that goes in. And you can see it is movie accurate to how his hilt appears in all 3 of the original trilogy movies. So the first thing that really just pops out is the sheer amount of soft goods you get with this. Just absolutely amazing, and very much a very accurate sculpt of the Darth Vader helmet. And if you want obviously a closer detail of what the Darth Vader helmet looks like from the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series, then check out my review of the actual Black Series full-size helmet, which I reviewed some time ago. I'll leave a link down below. But yeah, just look at all this soft goods here. So you can obviously need to fold this over because it is lovely tucked in at the back there, because that's how it comes in the packaging. There's just so much of it. Wow. Let's just put that over there, and that over there, and that just gives you that traditional Darth Vader look. That is just amazing. Soft goods obviously in here and here, which is very much traditional to how the character looked in A New Hope, because this is based on his New Hope look, and obviously how he also appeared in Rogue One. So his chest details are all accurate as well, and he's got a little bit of a hook there for you to hang the saber on, which is a nice little touch. Obviously if you took the blade out, then you can like hang it on there, because that's how Vader has his lightsaber. But yeah, previous Darth Vaders have looked a little bit off. I know the one that they released for The Empire Strikes Back was particularly good, but I never got around to getting that one. So that came out a couple of years ago. But the very first one that I think came out in 2014 was quite lamented for being absolutely bloody awful. The helmet and the face just didn't look right. I don't know how Hasbro got it so wrong, but it is great that they finally got it so right. And the paint job there as well, they've got that kind of like silver sheen to it, which it has, which I never noticed, but you don't, because obviously the way the helmet is photographed with the cinematography, you don't realise it's actually a very kind of like a dark grey in the original Star Wars, and then obviously it just appears black with the way that it is photographed. But yeah, and they've got that reddish tint to the eyes there as well. Now, this is my first Darth Vader. We'll just put him over there. And the reason he is my first Darth Vader is because I've used this in my display, which I think his helmet's on a little bit wrong. So this is actually, it's not a Hasbro product, this is a Disney Store product. This is from their Elite series, which were the die-cast figures that they started releasing back in 2015, when they obviously launched a load of merchandise with The Force Awakens. And this was released in 2018 as part of the 35th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, because he does have several features. You can take his helmet off, and you can take his faceplate off, and then you've got Anakin underneath there, and yes, he is of a larger scale. These are kind of like more like 6.5 inch figures. But obviously Darth Vader is such an imposing figure. I just thought he looked really, really good in amongst my Black Series collection. So I never got around to getting, like I said, a Hasbro Black Series Darth Vader, because I just thought this one was just so good to take the place. It's very, very precarious yet having to stick that helmet back on there to just make it look authentic. So that's my placeholder. Now, the question is, do I replace this one with this one? Because this one is of limited articulation because it is die-cast metal. You know, you can move them around somewhat, but obviously you're limited with the plastic cloak that you have there. And obviously this one has a lot more, obviously, posability and articulation and various options that you could do with him. So you could do the whole reaching out, doing a force choke, have him obviously wielding the saber. You can obviously, I mean, there's lots of articulation there with the legs, which are all movie accurate, or should I say TV show accurate. This is a really, really good figure. So it's just a case of obviously how I'm going to get this guy posed, and then how I'm going to have him fighting with Obi-Wan here. But yeah, this is an excellent Darth Vader figure. Hasbro have really, really knocked it out of the park in this instance. Absolutely amazing. And obviously you can see, if you just look at the comparison there, the difference between this Disney store or Disney theme parks as well, Elite Series diecast figure, and then obviously you've got the Hasbro Obi-Wan Kenobi Darth Vader figure there. Yeah, I think this one's going to take the place in my Black Series display. So I've just used a little bit of sellotape at the back of Obi-Wan's head underneath his cloak, just to keep the hood in place, and it seems to have really worked. I'm quite pleased with obviously how that is looking. So there we have it. We have Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader from the Disney Plus series Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars Black Series by Hasbro. Really do like these two figures. As I said, this seems to be reduced now in quite a few places. If you could pick it up for 20 quid, it's an absolute steal. This, to be honest, I probably wouldn't mind or begrudge paying $25.99 for it, because of obviously the sheer amount of soft goods you get with it, and the fact that it is the best version of Darth Vader that Hasbro have released in this range so far. So there you have it. Two excellent figures from Star Wars, the Black Series.
Have you come to destroy me, Obi-Wan?
I will do what I must.
Then you will die.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, then please leave us a like. It really does help out the channel. And if you haven't yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified whenever we upload any brand new videos. So in the meantime, stay safe, take care, and stay tuned for Bearded Geek Toy Reviews. See you later. Bye now.
I want every lowlife and bounty hunter to squeeze him. You can't run Obi-Wan!
do upload and my thing's just fallen over. God.